So today is the release of Raging Flames against Emerald Storm D-BT07. Really doesn't feel like it should be out already, considering it hasn't even been 2 months since Blazing Dragon Reborn came out, and I opened my case. But still, new product, really excited, ready to upgrade some decks from this set. And fun fact, this is actually the second time I'm having to record this because I could not get my camera to focus from a different angle I was trying out. So, hence why I'm able to wrap the box in the background. But I've got a whole case, not sponsored, but shout out to 50 Cards for the case. Great service there. So if you're ever wanting to pre-order any product, he's got a lot of great stuff, and I'd recommend checking out his storefront. Especially if you don't have a locals scene where you can get product from. So yeah, again, not sponsored, but I'm just a big fan of his shop and where I always try to pick up my cases. So yeah, but let's get right into this box here. Beautiful, and you can get a better view of the box over here, but looks great with Drajuled and Barbarina here, and Yu and Michiru on the cover. I find it interesting that the set refers to Youthberg instead of Drajuled, yet Drajuled's the cover card, so that's a fun little tidbit there. Of course, Vanguard logo, side name of the set, back just some information on the barcode, just what comes in this set here, 16 packs of course, just a breakdown of all the different types of cards, and the back, information at the top, but also more artwork of Drajuled and Barbarina. Find it interesting, again, they just repeat what's on the front there as well, instead of maybe showing off the new Youthberg and the Leonorn, the Resonance Dragon. That would make way more sense for the back for me, but oh well. Still, let's get right into the box here. There are some box toppers as always, though quite interesting. It's this little card here. Don't really know, like, I guess dividers for your collection, which is pretty neat, but in terms of box toppers, not the coolest one. Vanguard's not been known for their box toppers, really. And then, of course, we got a little promotion there for the anime. Then on the back side, we've got Bang Dream, Vanguard Zero, D4DJ. They're always here. But really what we're interested in are the packs. So I'm going to set this off to the side. And we actually have 2 pack arts this time. Got Michiru with Drajuled and Yu with Barbarina. Looks very nice here. I think that both packs actually really complement the red of the top part here very, very nicely. So I do quite like these packs overall. And glad to see that they're doing multiple arts again. They did that 4 different arts for set 5, the Encounter set. The Glitter set. Sorry. It was Encounter set as well. Yeah, it had the ones that was sort of a homage to original set 5 with Majesty Lord Blaster, Dragonic Overlord, and Phantom Blaster Overlord, as well as the Glitter ride lines. 4 pack arts there. Doing 2 this time, which I still think is awesome. Let's get right into it. So, pack art, just standard stuff. See all this on the box anyway, all the set information and such, but let's get right into the pack here. I've got a case, so I'm going to get everything I need from it, but personally, what I'm hoping to open first to see is both Drajuled stuff as well as Magnolia stuff, for sure. So, starting off here, already focusing great. Love to see it. Silent Sorrow Dragon, I love the artwork for it. Don't think this card will really be played, but nonetheless, love the artwork for it. Got Steam Shooter Huanam. For Dark States, more Steam support. We're getting the Chrono Jet deck set soon, so that's nice to see. Beautiful Bullet Duststorm Jody, some female units for Eugene. Nice to see some Eugene support here, just kind of give it some love, as it's typically been the weakest of all the ride lines from the first 10 lines from the first set, but still nonetheless has some lot of neat cards as well. Inhale Pits, kind of supporting a different strategy for Dark States at the more common and rare spots. Gallant Flare Dragon, cool little armored dragon here. And counterblast put his soul, choose one of your Vanguards. It gets when the team attack hits Vanguard, draw a card, and countercharge 1. So I would say this is definitely more Dragonic Overlord support. I wish it didn't have to hit Vanguard, because if it didn't have to, it would pair real well with the old Dragonic Overlord, which would have been quite nice. But hey, Overlord support, not too bad, not too shabby there. Rare is the Fortress for the new product ride line, set order product, Mobile Fortress of Obliteration, Freischwitz Maximum. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Pretty cool there. Unfortunately, this deck really does not seem that great. It's a really cool concept, but the support's just not quite there. You read through it and you're just like, huh? But I think it's really awesome. I hope we can see some support to make this deck good. But at the same time, I find it weird that they give us the hero ride line last set and then give us a brand new ride line and don't support heroes at all this set. It's like, why either put this support in Blazing Dragon Reborn and give us more support in this set, or just print generic stuff in Blazing Dragon Reborn supporting all the old Brandgate stuff and then give us this set here. And yeah, I mean, set 9 supposedly we probably are getting a double rare. We got one for heroes. I would assume we would get one for this ride line, but even then, it feels like it needs a bit more than just that. But who knows? Maybe that double will be perfect. Really cool artwork, though. Nice to see this card. Ooh, speaking of Magnolia support, right away, Sylvanhorn Beast Cyril, the double rare. Really interesting card. Both it and the triple are interesting. I think this one's even more interesting, as it more supports the grade 3 Magnolia build by giving your whole board Persona Ride power as opposed to just the front row, which synergizes really well with it, and helping you kind of search out your copies to be able to attack with all your cards. So phenomenal search card here. Very, very interesting. It makes me excited to try out the Magnolia grade 3 version specifically again, which I do like to see. And the triple rare, hopefully we'll see it, but that one feels more of a grade, it can support the grade 3, but it feels more like a grade 4 support card. Personally, just because grade 3 has access to a lot more cards than the grade 4 does. But moving on to the second pack here, we got Billow Assault. A lot of Flagberg support at the common slot here. When this unit attack boost hits, if you have a stand Vanguard Flagberg, stand this unit. So it's a restanding booster. Can be pretty annoying. I don't know if you'll necessarily run this. You might just have better cards to run, but still, I don't think it's too bad. Some on-hit pressure. And some extra, well, really what this says is, while it might be on-hit pressure, really it just means that your opponent might have to guard more at some point, or at least with the first attack that you swing with it. So cool, really cool there. More of the product support with Blitz, Top Scale, Angrid. Common slot, Blaze, Hook, Monk, Nisha. I don't know if, I think you pronounce the first S, it's not just Sha. But yeah, cool card, cool artwork here for, I don't think you'll run it in the, this looks more like, let's say if you regard to a more original dress. Oh, so it is crossover dress support. But you really, if it's not a Prayer Dragon, why are you running it? Unfortunately, deck space is too tight. Depletion Sabia for Barrow Magnus here. Bit expensive, but interesting card. I think you just have better cards that do what this card's trying to do. Then you have, speaking of Prayer Dragons, Crushing Equipped Dragon, Katya Guard. So when this comes to original dress, if your soul has no cards, soul charge 2. Just some support for the new Bar Verena to make sure you have soul to use its effect. Quite nice there. Ooh, and Graceful Heavenly Flash Hermona. The frame rare for not Youthberg, Bastion here looks really, really nice. 50k Interceptor from the back row. Don't see why you would run this over the Dragon from set 4, where you can call it from hand. Like, I get that you can call this on board and then intercept with it, so you're not losing cards from hand. But I still think the Dragon might just be a bit better. It's a bit more flexible. It doesn't cost anything, but still looks pretty cool. Oh, and the other thing, it costs a Soul Blast. If we're getting Darkstrain unrestricted, like it is in, like they just announced for Japan, again, I see you want to use Soul more for Darkstrain in this card. Still, cool card. And into will+Dress. Speaking of the product ride line, this is a very product-focused box so far. I don't know why I drew a blank on the words there, but just with... Actually, it's only been 2 packs, but there's been a lot to talk about. We keep seeing those cards here. Looks quite nice. I do like the foil pattern with the artwork of this card. It's a very simple card, as you can read. When you operate a product, this unit gets 5,000. And then when the unit attacks Vanguard, choose a product in your order zone and operate off of it. It's just pretty much an enabler for the deck. The products are really what have the really cool effects here. So that's neat, and it can gain some power as well, so it hits and is not a weak Vanguard swing as well. So all in all, I do think this card does what it needs to do. It's pretty much, and I think the products do what they need to do. The problem is that the support cards, mainly at the triple and double rare spot, just don't do what the deck needs them to do. So definitely look out for this deck. I think it's really neat here. But moving on to the next pack, we get more Flagberg support here. It is with Trigeminal Assault. Trigeminal? I'm probably butchering. I see like like 3, but also I see like trig, like trigonometry. So trigeminal assault. Not too sure, but when this unit boosts, Soul Blast 2 and stand this. At the end of battle, this unit boosts, Soul Blast 2, stand it. Expensive, only 7k. I think you'd rather run Billow Assault for the on-hit because it does make better numbers as well. Still, more Flagberg support, always nice. Erosion Demon Monster Nautilus, that's funny. Then we get Ferocious Hunter for Stoic KO. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, choose one of your rear guards and gets power plus 5,000. I think we got better cards for power gain there. Knight of Shredding, Feutila. Whoa, that's a mouthful. Feutithus. Feutithus. When your vanguards are with 2 critical or greater attack soul blast when intention, this unit gets power plus 5,000. Interesting. Don't, I guess, Youthberg support? But soul blast gain 5k. Another Billow Assault. Then Overwatch Monster Proteed. Glad it's called a monster, so it can be used with the why am I drawing a blank? I want to call it Accurate. I'm literally forgetting the monster card. I literally just built a deck around it on Cardfight area. But it's nice that it has some support for this. But when your other rear guard is retired during your opponent's turn, bind this unit, put the retired card into your hand. It's interesting for sure. Don't know if we'll see much of it, but it's interesting. It's just dead against any deck that doesn't retire. And ooh, compared to the framer we got here, Graceful Heavenly Flash Hermona. Just the regular art to compare to. It's only a rare. Still, I love the artwork for this card as well. Looks very nice overall. So that was the 3rd pack. Moving on to the 4th pack here. So far I've seen 1 double rare, 1 triple rare, and a frame rare. So not too much, but again, we only have 3 packs deep. So starting off, we have Steady Spiky for Dark States. More kind of supporting that common rare deck that build around. I'll point out once we get the card that's kind of payoff for it, but just kind of sit around grade 0s in Soul as well. Then Knight of Heavenly Echo Sonithia. So more Bastion support of the grade 1 slot. Hasn't seen much success running anything but grade 3s, but hey, they're trying. Dual Electros Dragon. During turn, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets 5,000 power. That's nice. Just a simple card for a deck. Like, it's nothing amazing, but if you just need some extra cards to round out your deck, this one isn't a bad option as well. 13k attacker or booster once you get to the late game. Blitz Programmer Strazer, the grade 1, the product deck. Then Roaring Cannon Dragon Salvo Rex. Looks awesome. I love this artwork here. During your turn, this unit gets 10,000 power, and if your opponent's front row has a rear guard, it cannot attack a Vanguard. So this is the version, there's a grade 2 version of this card that only gains 5k, and that's out of the first festival collection. So this one's just kind of an upgrade at a common slot, which is kind of funny. I think it's fine that it exists. It's just funny compared to that one, the Hungerthor, I believe it was called. Then Strike Cannon of Duststorm Andrea, however you choose to pronounce it. If your Vanguard is Eugene in its card name, retire this unit, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. Okay. It's a grade 3, so lose on shield value, but honestly, not a terrible effect there. Interesting. And then more Flagburger support. Rousing Breath Dragon. Backwards in a rearguard circle during the 5th battle of this turn. The cost of all the original auto abilities of your Vanguard Flagburger in its card name are reduced by Counterblast 1. Not too bad here. Obviously, we have the promo that was in sneak preview for Blazing Dragon Reborn that needs to be back row center rearguard circle. But this is still a nice card to have since Empiring Dragon, I believe is what it's called, can swap between rows, not just in the column. So if your opponent ever Counterblast denies you and you have this card, you can actually move this. You can call it as a booster and then just swap it behind your Vanguard to be able to reduce the Counterblast cost, which is quite nice, giving you an out to Counterblast denial so you can still use Flagburg's ability as well. So I do really like that card there. Good card, support card from this set. And then moving on, we got the grade 2 of the Blitz, not well, the Blitz mechanics, but of the product deck that will focus, but it is Blitz and Technology Researcher Uber. These feel very on the nose. Uber, like the company. Yeah, there we go. Now it's focusing. But yeah, more product support cards to set them up. Quite nice there. So blast one, choose a product in your zone and operate, so you can operate it on your grade 2 turn, which is nice. Forestall Arrow Dragon, another really pretty dragon art. Unfortunately, the common slot. When this unit is put on Guardian Circle, if your Vanguard is being attacked, Counterblast 1, and this unit gets 5,000 shield until end of battle for every 2 units on your Vanguard and Rearguard Circle. Bastion's got better stuff. I don't think you would run this in Youthberg, but hey, it looks very pretty. It's going to be a nice card for the binder. Grade 2 for the products, Heavy Strike Cannon Fortress Freischwitz. Again, sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, but yeah, just kind of some of the payoff here. When it's operated, choose one of your opponent's front row rear guards, retire it. If you did not retire, choose one of your opponent's vanguards to get power minus 5,000, so a bit of control. And if you can't do that, just kind of makes it easier for your cards to hit. Forces your opponent on every guard to guard with at least 5k more. Do quite like it here. And then, of course, the ability to go into the rare that I showed off in one of the earlier packs as well. Yeah, it is off a Persona ride, but there are other ways to kind of turbo into it. So cool to see there. Ooh, and perfect, the grade 1. Incandescent Flame Cannon Absol. Abhasal. Again, I'm probably butchering these pronunciations. But when it's operated, choose one of your opponent's front or rear guards retired. If you did not retire, draw a card, choose a card from your hand, and discard it. So it is a cycle. And what was either a retire, so some control aspects. Only front row, but not too bad there. And then, of course, it's a cycle if you don't have to, which is nice. It triggers some of your stuff like your Tactians if you have some discard synergies, but also just kind of getting a better hand. Not too bad here. Obviously, if it was just a draw, that would be overall probably better, but I understand since it's repeatable why they just made it a cycle here. I believe the grade 1 of the ride line, let me actually check this. I believe the grade 1 of the ride line sets up the product right away, so you don't even have to pay it. So you're not going -1 here. When wrote upon, search your deck for up to 1 grade 1 product card, put into your order zone. If you search your deck, shuffle it. If you put a card from your hand, draw a card. Search your deck or hand. So yeah, it's always a +1. That's nice. Just to easily get out to set it up, since normally playing in order is a -1. So do like that there. Obviously, if you just were to add it to your hand, it really wouldn't have made much of a difference, but hey, it's nice that it's worded that way so you can't brick if you can run less grade 1 products and not have to worry about if you draw into them. Quite nice. Another Theutethis. It's a mouthful. Ooh, and Tyrannite Oryx. Speaking of Flagberg, support in the frame rare. I do have this for my sneak preview kit, but it's a gorgeous card. The end of battle, this unit attack a Vanguard. If it is the second battle that turn, and you have a stand Vanguard with Flagberg in its name, Soul Blast 1, stand this unit and gets power plus 5,000. V-Series Title Assault is crying right now. It's only for Flagberg, but it's lean cost at only a Soul Blast. Restander, gains power. I love this card for Flagberg. And finally, we have another double rare, but this one's a frame rare of a double rare, so that's why I kind of said another double rare. So nice pack here with Wayward Therapy Angel, an interesting card. Mostly we'll probably see play in Youthburg if it does, but this card cannot be ridden and cannot be normal call to rearguard circle from hand. But when it's discard from your hand during your turn, if your Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, Soul Blast 1 and call this card to a back row rearguard circle. So it's a 10k booster. Not too bad here. I don't think it's terrible. It does need to be discarded, but it has to wait till your Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, so it takes a while, but hey, at least you can guard with it. I think it's all right. It's an interesting card. Don't know if it really needs to be at the double rare slot, but hey, it is still an interesting card nonetheless that I haven't actually looked if I'm going to run it in my Youthburg list, but it's a consideration. I will say that. It is a consideration with me not having looked over much of the cards yet. So moving on to the next pack here, we got the Nautilus here again for Brandgate. Very interesting card, artwork-wise. This card again, I'm not going to try to pronounce it again. Gallant Flare Dragon, we've seen a lot of these already. The starter for the product ride line, just a standard starter. Noblesse Flit. During your turn, if your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, 5,000 power. So we see that with Dragon Empire, now we see it with Stoic as well. I do like this card. I think that Conspire Mutant Adamantus from set 1 is a bit better for most strategies, but still, interesting card. A ton of these. Stoic has probably got the best group of cards that just kind of gain 5k for some reason, so do quite like that for just standard strategies. Demonic Jeweled Dragon Ristal Gareler. Love to see this card for Jeweled here. Really great card. When this unit attacks, if you Soul Blast attacks a Vanguard, if you Soul Blast 4 more cards at the same time for the cost of your Vanguard's ability, so Jewel's ability. This turn, put a card from your hand to Soul, draw a card, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and retire it. So it is a cycle as well as a -1 for your opponent on board. I do quite like that for control. You get to set up your grades in your soul since you get to choose which card from hand to put, and you get to draw a card to replace it. All in all, love this card, great for Jeweled. And, ooh, one of the reprints here, the Ameliorate Connector. Really like to see that they're reprinting these. Kind of wish that they came in a higher quantity to really help replenish the stock, but still quite nice that we get them nonetheless. So, and Ameliorate Connector is a really good one for Brandgate. A lot of people are opting to run draws now, just because the one extra card a lot of times, especially on like defensive checks, has been feeling really good in Overdress. Just shows like how low shield value is compared to power and how draw power isn't the most abundant compared to other formats. So that's why that card's nice, and it's a 10k shield nonetheless. So moving on to the next pack here, we'll zoom in again. Yep, Steam Shooter Quantum. We're going to skip through these because we've seen a lot of these. Jody, Inhale Pit, Gallant Flare, Barret Magnus Order. Ooh, double rare. It's going to be a triple rare after the calling right now. Break Equipped Dragon Urbargo. Yeah, Urbago. There we go. This is the main card that crossover dresses with Farina into Bar of Arena. And when this unit becomes the original dress, Counterblast 1, Soul Charge 1, and choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. So Bar of Arena needs your opponent to have, I believe, 1 or less rear guards, so the retire effect helps with that. The Soul Charge also fuels Bar of Arena's retire effect to just wipe out your opponent's field. Give Arena drive checks, and it is nice. Though it is very Counterblast heavy. That's the only thing. You got Counterblast 1 for this card, Counterblast 1 for Bar of Arena, Counterblast 1 for Nirvana Jiva with no countercharger. So, well, there are countercharges, but they're not great for that. They don't highly synergize with it. But anyway, Tripware is Benevolent Maiden Arasereth. Interesting card for Stoicheia here at the Tripware slot, grade 3. So it does a lot what some other cards do, but just all in one. When the unit placed on rearguard circle from hand, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, discard the top 3 cards of your deck, choose a card from your drop zone, call it to rearguard circle. If it's a grade 2 or less, put it into your hand if it's the same name as your Vanguard. Do quite like that there. Though note that if it is a grade 3 with that does not have to share your Vanguard's name, you cannot add to hand, and that's just to prevent this card from moving itself, I'm pretty sure. So interesting card here. I don't think it fits really into any deck currently, but it's a really good card. It's a bit expensive, but it's a +1. It helps you mill, kind of set stuff up, can loop stuff back to your hand. It's a great kind of utility card. I'm worried it's a bit too expensive overall, but it just kind of does a lot of things that have seen success with other cards, such as the order, the Zorga order, where is more of a generic order, from Blazing Dragon Reborn that lets you call 1 after milling 3, and you've got a ton of like Zorga cards that mill you and call stuff back, and it kind of gives me those vibes, so I see that card having some potential. Crush Equipped Dragon Katia Guard again. The Knight of Enmity, oh god, these names are tough this time around. I don't normally struggle this much. When this unit is retired from rearguard circle by a card's ability, if your hand is 0 or less cards, draw a card. Some nice support for Phantom Blaster Overlord. Don't know if it'll really be run, because I don't know how often you'll have 3 or less cards, but still nonetheless interesting. Gogik Dragon. If you have Vanguard 3 on his card name, all your other rear guards at the same column as this unit get boost. So just to kind of help if you're running less great ones, but the great ones are really good right now, so I don't know if you'll really run this card. Still nice to have. And here's the payoff I was talking about. Sky Severing Demonic Blade Altar Slaughter. It is a Vanguard once per turn skill to Soul Blast 6 grade 0s to Soul Charge 6, choose 6 of your units, and get 10,000 power until end of turn. A lot of 6s there. Coincidence? Absolutely not. So that's kind of what some of those cards I was talking about from Dark States kind of support, is just setting up this card to be able to use its effect. Not a huge payoff, but it's interesting. Seems kind of more just filler, though. Hypno Grasper. Back row rearguard circle. During your turn, if your soul is 6 more cards, this unit gets boosted. If your soul is 12 more cards, this unit gets 10,000 power. Interesting. Definitely would probably see some play if you need some filler in your deck. Archaeology Scholar Anteater Eatler. Yeah, these names are weird, but still interesting card. When placed rearguard circle, Soul Blast 2. Choose one of your other units same clause. This unit gets 10,000 power. Don't think it'll see too much play. It's a bit expensive for what it does. And Reaper in the Shadow Zealmort. Interesting card here as well. Cool artwork. So definitely, I think I've opened about half the box. I could be wrong. I've been losing track, and honestly, all the packs are on the floor waiting for me to properly fill them away. So let's see if we can speed through the rest of these, because I think we've seen most if not all the commons there. So, because again, we're starting off with the Barrow Magnusaur, and I believe this is the 3rd one we've seen. I don't think we've seen Knight of Gale Cinniblugar. Oh gosh, these names. And it's just the generic 13k for Vanguard's grade 3 or greater that we've been seeing for all these. Now we're seeing cards I haven't seen before. As I say it, Knight of Piercing Sky Sconfiza. If you have 3 or more grade 3 or greater units, retire this unit, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and put it on the bottom of their deck. Interesting. Just sacrifice itself for 1, but it's a grade 2, lowering the consistency, so that mainly be run in, not Flagberg, Bastion. All these names. Youthberg, Flagberg. Anyway, Consort Strike, Brave Shooter. Back row center rearguard circle. When your rearguard attacks, if it's the first battle of the turn, that unit gets 5,000 power. It's only a 7k, so I mean, not that it matters if it's your back row center, but I think you would rather have the Empyrean Dragon that can attack from that back row center rearguard circle, or the Counter Blast Reducer that we see at the rare slot. Knight of Demolition Maradu. It literally heard and just gave me all the cards I had not pulled to the common slot. That's exactly what happened. When this unit attacks hits a Vanguard, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and put it on the bottom of your deck. That, I think, is a lot better than the sacrifice card. Not too great because it's on hit, but still neat pressure there if we ever have a deck that wants it and can give it power. Divine or restand it, honestly. Divine, ooh. No, that could be interesting for Tegria when you're on light version. Don't think it's that great, but hey, you get 2 chances to attack with it. So, anyway, Divine Sister Languid Chat. Oh gosh. Moving on. I'm so sorry, I'm mispronouncing these. But if your Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, if you have a grade 3 or greater card in your soul, this unit gets boosted in 5,000 power. That seems more like Tegria support than anything else. I guess it could be used in Hex Orb as well, but that sounds more like Tegria support. And Sorrow Severing Twin Blades. Counterblast 2. Choose one of your regards with original dress and it gets critical +1 to land a turn. If only it didn't cost 2 counterblast. It'd be probably good that it doesn't because you can abuse it with Nirvana Jiva. But still, I don't think you want to use Counterblast 2 just to give a crit, even with Nirvana Jiva. Make sure it'd be cool with one of the triple rares, oh god, what was it called? That's the one that overdressed with Gallant Sword. Jewel equip Garo Varina. Garo? Yeah, Garo Varina. That'd be interesting, but really expensive, and you're probably not going to finish the game off with that. So, Blitz Security, Washington. I said we saw them, and now we're seeing more, of course. Guardian Circle, if you have a problem or zone, gains 5,000 shield, so it's a 10k shield. Put, so it's intercept or such, so just help for the Blitz deck, or the product deck. Float Assault, when this unit attack hits. Yeah, we read this one before. Knight of Fidelity, Ifonzo. When this unit is put on Guardian Circle, if your back row is 2 or more grade 1 or less regards, Soul Charge 1. Some stuff for, not Magnolia, come on, brain. Leonorn. So many ride lines now. Helps with the Soul Charge. I think you got better ways of Soul Charging Leonorn. Neat card, though. Blaze Maiden, Sienna. Just a way to gain 10,000 power. Not too bad, but again, you'd rather run the Prayer Dragons. Simblugar, again. Attract Inverse, some Barrow Magnus support at the rare slot into Blitz Mechanic Iskra. I was about to say, have you seen a double run a bit? So if you did not operate a product this turn, Counterblast 1, rest this unit, choose a product or zone, and operate it. So giving up the booster here on top of a Counterblast seems like a lot just to use your product skill, and it has to be that you had operate on a product this turn. It seems very high for what you get off of the products here, because we read the Cannon and we read the Fortress, but the main one, the Mobile Fortress, not the grade 3 here, its main operate effect that you will be using would be to choose one of your opponent's rearguards, retire it, choose one of your opponent's vanguards, and it gets power minus 5,000. So yeah, that's pretty good. You wouldn't be using the rest of the skill till your battle phase with your Wellstra here, but still. Oh, and you also note you cannot play this card. That's the other one, so you do have to set it up off the grade 2 order. But anyway, point is, that is a really good effect. I just don't think it really costs a Counterblast and rest a card. If it was just a Counterblast, sure, but that rest without ability to restand it, I think is just very, very expensive, and actually conflicts with one of the triple rares in the set that does operate a product, but has the same restriction of you can't, if you haven't operated on a product yet, which really hurts. Speaking of products, we got the non-mobile fortress, Hedgehog Cannon Fortress Freischwitz. Zustra again, the Cannon again, Forestall Arrow, Arig, Tigarita for Sylvanhorn Beast. For rearguard circle, when on your units in the same column as this unit attacks, it gets 10,000, so it's a 23k attacker, 28k with Magnolia Elder. Not too bad. You give up some shield value for a really great attacker. I don't think that's too bad. I don't know if it'll really be run, but hey, it's a 28k beater. That's pushes numbers, so I don't think you should discount this one. Into, Natalia for reprints. Front reprint is not bad at all from this set. I do like it. So that is the 2 reprints per set, meaning per case you get 40 reprints for 15 different cards. So that would be just shy of 3 play sets. But unfortunate, I really wish they really should just be in the rare slot so we can easily get play sets. But alas, that's not how it works. I guess they just want them to hold some value, or maybe they're just assuming there's only new players who are needing these. But I imagine some older players building some decks want some extra copies as well. So I really think it should have just gone the PG and over trigger treatment, even if it took like 2 or 3 slots to reprint them all. But anyway, I need there again, Ogic Dragon, the Altar Slaughter, Hypno Grasper, Silent Sorrow Dragon, Gravidia Almanon. When this unit attacks, so +1 discard a card from hand, choose a mirror right card in your drop, put it into your hand, and this unit gets 5,000 power until end of turn. Seems a bit expensive for what it does, but that synergy there with the disc, it does have some synergy with the discard to make multi-attack, which is interesting. Not a terrible card. I don't know if Gravidia wants to run this card. I don't know much about Gravidia, but I saw people talking about that. So hey, that's at least something. Ooh, Rockager, yes. Speaking of the support for Jejuled, Rockager, the other triple rare for it, gains 10,000 power when it attacks once per turn if your soul has 4 more cards with different grades. Really helps it be a big beater. And then when you soul blast 4 more cards at the same time for the cost of your Vanguard's ability, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, counter+1, stand this unit. Multi-attack, you can stack triggers on this card to be able to restand it. You're saying your opponent's powered to 1, so when you first swing with it, it's 20k. If your opponent checks a trigger, Jejuled can reset it. And now this is attacking with 20,000 power into a 1 power Vanguard, unless they took the Jejuled and take a damage. But with Jejuled being 2 crit, not always the most likely. So really, really nice card. Was really wanting to see it. Do like that there. So let's see, how many packs do I have left? 4. So I have gone through 3/4 of the set. We're in the final 4th here. And kind of go over it. I have pulled, I believe, 3 triple rares. So we're due to 1 more triple rare. We've pulled all the frame rares. As for the double rares, I count to 3 double rares. So we should be receiving 2 more double rares. So from these final 4 packs, we should have 3 hits. So getting right into it, we've got the Ferocious Hunter, Inhale Pit, the Mardu. So now we're just seeing all reprints now, or cards we were seeing: Corset Strike, Brave Shooter, Scofiza, oh, I butchered that, Blitz Accounting Department Head Sordio. If you operate Mobile Fortress of Obliteration, Freischwitz Maximum, and you did not countercharge this turn, so blossom into countercharge. So at least some countercharge, that's not too bad. This card itself doesn't do too much, so without some power gain, but hey, you can always throw in the back if you need to. It's not terrible. And yep, this pack is just 2 rares, meaning our final 3 packs should have a hit, unless the double rare, triple rare are together. But anywho, Divine Sister Palmier. When this unit is placed in regular circle from hand, if your Vanguard is great through greater, +1, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put them on top of your deck in any order. Interesting. Don't know if that's worth a counterblast. Still interesting, just a big way to just stack the top part of your deck, and it's generic as well, so it's not, you can run this in any deck if you want to. If you have the extra counterblast, sure, why not? All right, Uber, grade 2 of the product ride line. Then we got Drag Ritter Mita. I don't think we've seen this card. When this unit stands by your card's ability, retire it and draw a card. When your unit stands by your card's ability, retire the unit, draw a card. So a simple cycle, but kind of keeps it off of board, so you're probably can't do anything. It's fine. I don't think it will be played. Wharton, Sienna, Noblest Split, Maltalvara. That's a mouthful. Maltalvara. Vavara. Just call it Maltalvara. Once you use place in regular circle, +1, choose a card from your drop, put it into your soul. So lets you set up your 4 grades for Jejuled. Then if your soul has 4 more cards with different grades, this card gets 10,000 power. So powerful setup here. Don't know if it's really worth the counter blast overall, as you have to literally put the final grade into your soul with this card. You won't always have that, but still a nice card for Jejuled to have since it has such limited support right now. Speaking of Jejuled support, Falcate Performer. Much better card for setting up your soul. When this unit boosts, choose 1 card from your drop, and if your soul does not have a card of the same grade, put into soul. Just a real easy way to tutor cards into your soul. Really do like this card as well. And I think it'll have some use cases outside of Jejuled, though right now definitely is best in Jejuled. But I'm already thinking, like, this card, Freedom could afford boosters. Like, that would be interesting to be able to more easily set up your soul stuff, but Freedom doesn't really have too much of an issue with that anyway. But for situations like that, I'd also think of the McCanny support card, Chaos. Probably like that card, if you can get some cards that are already installed into your drop. Oh, but it's same grades, so that limits it as well. But it's a consideration, and now that I think about it, probably not. But hey, it's still a really nice tutor soul charge if you ever need it. So, Scotsfina, Brave Shooter, Marabu, Freischwitz, Spinning Knight Gwendolyn. This card art looks awesome. I could see this being played in Tegria. During the battle, this unit attacked. If you Persona Rogue this turn, this unit gets 5,000, and when your opponent will call cards from hand to guard circle, you must call 2 or more at the same time. Really great pressure card to restand. Just doesn't synergize with Tegria, only being able to call grade 2 or less. But really powerful payoff card. And speaking of more Keter Sanctuary stuff, our final triple rare is Unrivaled Heavenly Blade Discorda. Interesting card here. When this unit attacks, if you have 6 or more grade 3 or greater units, counterblast 1, and until end of battle, that this unit's attack will hit regardless of power if the sum of the grades in your opponent's guardians is not 3 or greater. So some extra on-hit pressure to help you kind of close out a game with a very interesting guard restrict there. I do quite like this card, and I've seen that it's usually just run as a 1-of, because I don't think you really want to spam this card, but as like, just if you draw into it and can throw it down to try to close out the game, I really don't think it's that bad here. So, and it's until the end of battle, so of course when you reset, you do have to repay the counterblast. You might not always have it, but that's still a really hard guard restrict to sometimes play around, especially if your hand size is low. Final pack of the box should be a double rare. We're starting off with the Drag Ritter here. Mirat, Siudra, Fuanon, Jody, Magna Reversal Breaker, Lava Mane Wyvern. At the end of battle, this unit boosted a Vanguard with Nirvana. Put into Soul, use one of your rear guards with the original and gets 10,000 power. If it was put to Soul Retire, this one would be very, very interesting for the deck, but alas, it's not a Prayer Dragon, and it doesn't do that, so 10,000, I don't think it's really worth losing the card over. Into, oh, it's just a rare. Huh, did I miscount? 2, 4, 5. 2, 4, 5. Oh, there is 5. Oh, then I miscounted originally. I already had open 4, didn't I? 2, 3. No, there is only 4. What? Well, that's certainly interesting. I'm not crazy, right? Dragon Empire, Dark States. We're missing Keter Sanctuary. No Keter Sanctuary, Stoicheia. So we're missing one from Brantgate. So let me go through these cards. Maybe I just missed it, but hey, we got the Synthesize DB here. We'll focus again. Interesting order for Leonore here. So it's kind of also one to draw a card, choose a card from your hand, call to regard, circle, discard. If you call to card until end of turn, that called unit cannot attack, but it gets 10k. So it gives it a 10k booster for both Vanguard and the rear card column you choose. Not too bad here to push out some extra power if you don't want the call to or don't need the call to with the order from the previous set. So quite interesting there. So that kind of tells me that maybe the Brantgate double rare got mixed in somewhere. Because I think there should be 5 double rares. I opened a box previous to this. I've kind of mentioned this before that I had to redo this one because the camera wouldn't focus. But that one had 5 double rares in it, and it had 2 reprints, and that the reprints took up what appeared to be a rare slot, not a double rare slot. So, oh, it's because I threw it down here. So yeah, some of you might have noticed that. It's because I threw it down to the balance setting up here, because honestly, I was like, oh, okay, it's this card. But anyway, so that is the pulls from this box of the triple rares. 4 triple rares, and this card pack's combination was Rockager, Welstra, Discorda, and the Aresirith for the triple rares. Double rares were from Dragon Empire. We got the Urgbargo, Falcate Performer for Dark States, Iskra for Brantgate, Wayward Therapy Angel for Keter Sanctuary, and the Serral for Stoicheia. And our frame rares were the Hermona, rare frame rare for Keter Sanctuary, as well as the Arix for Stoicheia. Great flag breaks, beautiful card. Love it so much. And then of course you get one of all but one of the rares, if I'm not mistaken, because whichever one of the rares is taken up by, why did I sleep that one? One of the rares is taken up by the, what are they called? The reprint cards. I forget which ones I got. I know I got, oh, it's Ameliorated Connector, this one. So for example here, let me quickly check here and then I'll sign off. So 1, I think it's easier just to show. So there's 4 rares, 2, 3, 4. So got all 4 of the different rares, and you only get 1 copy of each there. And then from here it would be 1, 2, Ameliorated Connector as the reprint, and it would just be 3, 4. Oh, so I did get all 4 rares. So that means that this reprint card did not take the slot of a rare, if I'm not mistaken, because got 1 of each rare. 4 times 5 is 20, and there are 16 packs here. Yeah, never mind. So yeah, it looks like it does not take up a slot of a rare, though it might sometimes. I'll have to check my other box before I say that. So point is, you get 1 of each. Actually, let me check that real quick. Now that I think about it, I'm wondering if maybe it does take a rare slot. But I do know of the rares you only get 1 of them, and then of the commons you get anywhere from 1 to 3 by the looks of it. So that is the ratio you can expect from your box. Yeah, I only have 3 of the Dragon Empire rares here. I'm missing one of them. So that's it. The reprint does take all your rare slots, so you'll get one of each but one of the rares from the box, and then 1 to 3 of all the commons, and then I showed you off all the other ratios. But with that being said, though, that has been my box opening for Raging Flames against Emerald Storm. Really hype set, and of course, not too long from now, less than 2 months, we're going to get set 8, which is also hype, so you can expect some box openings. But in the meantime, before that, you can also expect some gameplay and deck profiles from this set, as I am trying to definitely build out Jeweled and upgrade Magnolia, and I'll see what else I kind of throw in there. So if you're interested, please consider subscribing and turning on the notification bell so you are notified when I upload that. And of course, if you enjoyed this box opening, please consider leaving a like and comment down below what you're planning on building from this set. Would love to get some discussion going down in the comments below. But with that being said, though, look forward to more content coming out real soon.